Fellow Ambazonians, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're welcome to the show. I can put it updates related to Ambazonian revolution and the happenings surrounding our revolution, our quest for independence. So today, still, I'm privileged to be joined by the spokesperson of the Ague of Sea, my fellow comrade, a personal friend, comrade Lucas Asu. You are welcome to this live show. And I know we've always promised our people that we'll always try to continue to keep them updated in what is happening in our revolution and also other aspects out of Ambazonia that is also tied to our revolution. We made that solemn promise, and you and I are trying to keep to our own, to the bargain of our own promise. My fellow brother, you are welcome to the show. How for you?
We did. We actually made a promise to our people, and we're doing our best to live up to that commitment and expectation.
Okay.
You're fine. I'd be very delighted for joining you for this program. I'd be very delighted for once again make a chat with our people, get a discussion with our people, and continuously for empower, educate, and help our people them that they stay informed and on top of the things that they happen locally and internationally where they affect we all.
Okay. Brother, I hope say my people. I'll really apologize to my people there. I mean, I get my title for the show, but my fellow comrade, well, Unanoi, I know you don't need to introduce yourself, Una. So let's just dive straight into the topic of discussion for this week. My fellow comrade and my fellow brother in the quest for our liberation.
Yes, sir.
Now that we can technically say that we have given the Republic of Cameroon a deadly blow.
Authoritatively.
Yeah, we can authoritatively say that we have given the Republic of Cameroon a deadly blow on using, earmarks like them not having control of our territory. They can't walk or command freely in our territory. Our people, Ambazonians, have the ground. They have the territory to themselves. So, with that said, that we have authoritatively given them a deadly blow in the quest for our independence. So now we see them masquerading around that they are trying to conduct elections. What is the significance of what they are trying to achieve? And secondly, with the desperate nature of their state, we look at, you see their streets, you see their healthcare collapsing. They don't even have anything in the name of healthcare. You see how devastated that country is. So now the issue is this: what are they trying to prove? Trying to conduct elections? And secondly, periodic, where is the finance coming from for them to masquerade this or create this charade of an election? Where is the finances coming from, and what are they trying to prove? Can you just throw more light in that and what their intention is and what they are trying to, continue to, play around with? Just give me a take about that.
Cameroon as a state does not really exist as a state. It's being controlled and governed by different sets of cartels. Centrally, Mr. Biya is just there, someone with a name and a title.
Yep.
In terms of existence of a state,
yep,
there's nothing holding it anymore together.
Yep.
The strategic defeat that the Ambazonian people, through their sheer will and relentlessness, through their sheer determination, through their bravery, their courage, and sacrifices in terms of treasure and blood,
Yep.
they have prevailed over Cameroon. The strategic defeat that Ambazonia has delivered to Cameroon has disintegrated Cameroon. There are many factions, even within the CPDM regime itself.
Okay.
There are factions within CPDM, the regime of Mr. Biya, that have come to the conclusion that they have lost the war in Ambazonia. And they want to negotiate. There are factions, others within the same CPDM, within the same Biya's government, that are profiting from the war, that are making billions and billions and billions and billions from the conflict, from the crisis, from the humanitarian disaster, and they want to prolong the conflict. So there are conflicting centers of power and opposing centers of power within the same system. We saw this manifested itself during Canada pre-talks, when Mr. Biya and the colonial prime minister, that faction, accepted the reality on the ground, that the occupation governance structure has been dismantled. And the best thing for them to do is to find a way to save face. That's why they got engaged into the Canada pre-talks. And the moment they tested who we are, how determined we are, how sophisticated we are, how united we are in Canada, they backed out. Mr. Biya didn't back out. The opposing forces within the Biya's government that are profiting from the war, they took advantage of Mr. Biya's old age, his inability to think and to make decisions. They took advantage of the colonial prime minister weaknesses, and the opposing forces led by Ngongo and Rene Sadi and the Minister of National Defense. They opposed Mr. Biya and publicly made a public statement that they had nothing to do with the Canada pre-talks. That was a huge embarrassment for Mr. Biya. That was a huge embarrassment for Diongote. Their reputation was shattered. But they couldn't come back and challenge the deputies, because that will mean there are two structures within the same government. So Mr. Biya swallowed the embarrassment and the disgrace and lived with it. And nobody's fired, because they are trying to maintain a false sense of unity, which does not exist. So what's happening in Cameroon right now is that strategic defeat is very painful for them. So they create another episode in order to shift the narrative called elections. Election is just an injection, an introduction of a new narrative in order to cover the defeat, in order to mask the defeat. It's to divert international attention from the conflict to the elections. So this is the game. It's a psychological game. It's a diplomatic game. It's a game of narratives. This is what this game is about. So whether the election holds or it doesn't, the international community, by the way, has already informed and warned Cameroon there should be no election unless they've brought the conflict to an end. But Mr. Biya and those surrounding him, being who they are, obviously they are very stubborn because negotiations to them means capitulation. Negotiations to them means accepting that they have been defeated. Negotiations to them means they were wrong. Negotiations to them means they could all end up in jail because of their accountability.
I have a quick question for you, and I don't know, maybe just following through what you're saying.
Go ahead, man. This is a conversation.
What is the angle of La Republique Cameroon's handler France in the Canadian talks? What was their? Do you think that the Canadian talks could have taken place with their consent, or was it just the fact that La Republique Cameroon is fractionating, and people are doing things by themselves for themselves? Because you and I, we know that the main handlers of La Republique Cameroon is the France. So what do you think? Is it like some sort of a renegade team that decided to say that we're going to end this thing on our own terms without consulting our masters? Or what do you think about that? Or were they trying to play a fast one on us, or what?
They were not. They were. Look, Ambazonia, we are very sophisticated sets of people. We are very sophisticated as people. We're very savvy. They were not playing any fast one on us. They tried with the Swiss process to play fast one on Amazonians. Mm-hmm. That's why it failed. We've proven how serious we are, how sophisticated we are, how savvy we are, but also how ready we are as a people to engage in things that are transparent, are credible. Okay, Canada will not risk its reputation to satisfy France.
Okay,
Canada will not. Okay. It's a different game.
Okay.
Okay. So Cameroon must have consulted France. They must have consulted France. As much as France has an influence, the ultimate decision will be made by Cameroon.
Okay.
If it's going to favor, number one, Cameroon wants to save face. Mm-hmm. Okay. So an outright defeat will be very catastrophic to Cameroon. Mm-hmm. So they rather save face and be reintegrated into the international community because they have been so isolated. So Canada was a place for Cameroon to save face, that they have become reasonable. They want to show that they have become very reasonable, that they are flexible, and that they are open to new ideas to end the conflict. Because as an occupying power, the measures, mechanisms, actions, and steps they have taken have fallen short in resolving the conflict. That's why the international community has to step in. Yeah. So Canada was instrumental in showcasing the unity of Ambazonia, the powerful argument we can make. Cameroon has no argument when it comes to this conflict.
Yep. You're right.
Cameroon has zero argument.
Yeah.
Mr. Biya, Diongote, Atanganji, their Minister of Justice, their Minister of Defense, their Minister of National Security, none of them.
Even France, all of them, they don't have any argument.
None of them can logically, eloquently, with clarity and assertiveness state Cameroon's claim on Ambazonia. They can. Even during Canada talks, Cameroon cannot make an argument to show its proof and claim over Ambazonia. They can't. That's why they are using force. That's why it's a military occupation.
Yeah, just a follow up on that.
Sure.
Recently, we have learned that there are some, I mean, the international community is trying to figure out how to, bring this conflict to a negotiated settlement. And we know for sure that some players, some key players within the Ambazonian territory, or not within the Ambazonian territory, that are from Ambazonian extraction, they have been meeting with some, or having some meetings, either in Africa, in Motherland. So I can't specifically pinpoint the country, but it seems as if it was in South Africa. So and with that said, I don't think you as a spokesperson, the AGOFC, was an active participant in that particular meeting. What can you say about that meeting? What is AGOFC stance as far as working together and collaborating with all other factions? And what do you think was the outcome or the purpose of that gathering that we heard that took place recently in the Motherland Africa?
The Ambazonia Governing Council is the center of the Ambazonian liberation struggle. The AGOFC is the nationalist pillar of the Ambazonian struggle. The AGOFC has made several attempts to work with others to forge a common front. It is still the responsibility of the AGOFC as the nationalist core of Ambazonia to bring others together. We succeeded during Canada pre-talks to unite, bring others together, think together, work together, and achieve a common result for the Ambazonian people. The AGOFC is not the only Ambazonian movement that is standing for the liberation of Ambazonia. There are many actors. Some are very lightweight actors. Some exist just by name. And so some are consequential. And so the AGOFC is a consequential actor. It's the most consequential actor.
Okay.
We were aware of the meeting, which I think last week we all came to the conclusion. We all they said it was in Ghana, but videos have emerged from South Africa. It looks like the meeting actually took place in South Africa.
Okay.
We were aware, we were informed, but it was not the best way for AGOFC to move its top leadership to send its top officials to the continent for security reasons. It's not safe at this moment based on what happened in September, the leader of the AGOFC being arrested and detained, and is now in the 6th month. We understand that the AGOFC is the most consequential movement. Its key leaders are a direct target. Cameroon wants to carry out a decapitation operation on the AGOFC. And so sometimes meetings like this are set up. I'm not saying this one was set up. Sometimes meetings like this are set up as a bait. For example, the vice president of AGOFC travels to Ghana, he won't return to Ireland. Or let's say in South Africa, he will be assassinated. Okay, he's not in the same rank and file as others because he's a consequential deputy leader of the liberation. Others are very lightweight.
Yep.
They have no consequence, either to Cameroon or to the international community. They're just lightweight actors. So we are very careful in how we engage in things. But we give our blessing for the meeting.
Okay.
Secondly, the meeting was to showcase the unity of the IG. The IG as a movement from 2017, when Siseko Ayoktabe was arrested, the founding father of the IG. That movement split. I think now we have what? 5 IGs. And so the division within the liberation struggle stems from the various factions of the IG in terms of the infighting, in terms of the orchestration. Someone like Elvis Kometa, right, is primarily responsible in the chaos within the IG. He's still there. He came from SCNC, but then he started playing a greater role based on the accumulated history of the SCNC. They transferred themselves mostly into the IG. So he had a central power there to play. So he played a key role in bringing Sako in, played a key role in stripping powers from Siseko Ayoktabe Julius. And he did that twice. Yeah. So all of this chaos, they need to tame this chaos and find a way to reconcile. So it was great to see Chris Anu, to see Marianata, and to see Yerema for the first time in the same room. It was great. This is good. This is positive for Ambazonia. This is really positive because the AGOFC, it's a very stable organization. So it is good to see that stability in other factions that have been so divisive. So this is very positive for the Ambazonian people. What is the outcome? This was a confidence building mission. It's basically to gain perspective from seasoned experts that have been involved in such complex political dealings.
Okay.
So that they can share experiences and then people can start to prepare what to expect should in case a negotiation is called up by the international community.
Okay.
What should be the outcome? It wasn't like there was something there that will radically change what's going on between Ambazonia and Cameroon. No. It's a way to show that people are reasonable, people are flexible, people are coming together, people are thinking together, people are working together. So it is really good to see that those factions of the IG can work together with SCNC and Dr. Akwanga, and we welcome that. And we know now that through that, we all can forge a common front. The AGOFC, the Vice President of Ambazonia Governing Council, Dr. Cho has been working on collaboration for even before the Canada talks, post-Canada talks, even right up to when he was arrested and detained. In February, the Vice President of Ambazonia Governing Council, the Deputy Leader, created a commission and appointed, I think, a 3 or 4 persons commission in charge of collaboration with other movements, and they have been working on that. So.
Okay. Yeah, because it's good that you bring it up, because we don't want. I just want to. I wanted to ask you just to find out whether you know, it's good that you say that as part of the organization's modus operandi, we are all for unity, we are all for collaboration, meaningful unity, meaningful collaboration, as long as it's gearing towards the independence of Ambazonia. So
as we did in Canada talks.
Yeah.
Let me put this out for Ambazonians to understand. We will unite in purpose, but there will not be an overarching structure that will be created in terms of what Ambazonians, based on our experiences in the past.
Yeah.
Okay. Cameroon is not joking. They are out to infiltrate and to destroy from within. So we've learned our lessons from the past, and we are open to bilateral collaboration with other movements to maintain the identity and the independence of other movements. What the Ambazonia Governing Council will not do is to participate in anything that will create an overarching structure, which will be infiltrated and destroyed. Anything you put together, we've seen that in forces on the ground. All the overarching structures that were created on the ground were infiltrated, and all top commanders were destroyed. We've seen that in the diaspora.
Yeah.
We've seen that any time there is a serious event, Cameroon will infiltrate. And so we are now looking for sensible, practical, and realistic methods of collaboration in order to safeguard the integrity of the liberation struggle.
Yeah, and you make a good point, because we said we are for bilateral or multilateral type of collaboration, because we still give people their respect, their due respect, as various groups and various organizations. So, people have defined themselves. They have come together under various, formulas. We still respect that, but as long as the goal and whatever we are going to sit for is for the liberation of Ambazonia, we give you your respect. We allow you to function the way you function, and if we have a common goal, if we have a common goal of freeing our land, we'll work with anybody. That is actually, and technically, you see, the position and the stance that the AGOFC has taken, that is what has safeguarded and maintained the dignity and the integrity of this revolution. Just assume that everybody went under.
First of all, every organization has a responsibility to protect its to protect itself and its existence and its structure from infiltration and from a takeover. Liberation politics is not baby food.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not an apple. It's not a banana. It's a very complex endeavor. As we've said many times, if you're not very careful, people can get killed.
Yeah.
We'll lose a lot of soldiers, and the liberation itself can come to an end. if it's not done properly.
Yeah.
So we must do it with due diligence
Diligence. You're right.
and tactfulness.
Yeah.
These are very critical times, and the enemy is very desperate. Okay?
Yeah. I want to ask you one quick question.
Which one? Which one? You've started. You want to ask me one?
No. The point is this.
Which one? Which one?
My take is this. Why? What? Normally, we live in a world. Let me put this world that where we perceive that there's order and there is, there's order from what we hear, and we live in a world where they call this rules-based order. The Europeans and the Westerners, they claim they use the terminology rules-based order. Um, you can't arrest somebody and you detain him and you don't charge the person, give him the opportunity to defend himself. The president of the AGOVC has been in detention for over 6 months and counting. We've not heard the charge. We've not heard, they have not given him an opportunity to defend himself. It is an illegal detention. And I think that the strategy that the enemy and its seniors are banging on is the fact that we will stop talking about our president, or the president of the AGOVC. Now, what is his charge? Can they just let's be clear about this. We see this manifest in countries that they consider as third world countries or developing countries, and they make a lot of noise about it. How can you detain someone for more than 6 months and over 6 months and counting? You restrict him from his civil rights, you restrict him from his freedoms, and you have not charged him for anything. You have not brought him up to court. The person the purpose of him being arrested and detained has not come out in public. Such a very prominent leader. What's the end game that Norway, that claims to function under rules-based order, that claims to function under a structured society, that brandishes itself as a country that stands for liberty and democracy and freedoms? What is the point? Can you help me out, because I'm trying to understand the rationale behind this as a layperson, but someone that understands the basis of a structured organization. How can they stand openly and humiliate themselves when you yourself have taken a deep dive research on Norway as a nation, and you know how they fought tooth and nail to push out the Nazis? How can they stand and perpetuate such an evil intention? And they walk through. What's your angle about it? What's the purpose surrounding this? Is it their intention for us to stop talking about our leader, or to dent the revolution? What are the key players behind this? And what's going on?
I understand the pain we all feel. I understand the pain we all feel. And as people that have lived under occupation for a very long period of time, we long for justice. We have looked up to the world, that the world, it's a very just and stable place based on certain international rules and international laws and international order. We have to be very careful. There is something called reality and there is something called aspirations. Ambazonia is not Canada. Ambazonia is not Norway. Ambazonia is not France. Let me give you an example. Where I am today in Canada, just 40 years ago, the Canadian government was taking children from these indigenous people called the natives, the people that both the British and the French met, who owns this land.
Yeah.
Just 40 years ago, they were taking their children. A woman will give birth. The government would take that children right from that woman in the hospital. Why? So that that child should not grow up and practice the way of life of the natives. They wanted to raise that child in the white man's ways of Christianity, of their way of food, their way of clothing. More than 70,000 children were slaughtered. There are mass graves now that are being discovered. As these children that were taken away by the government, handed over to the Catholic Church, were all raped and murdered. Okay. You can read about it.
Yeah.
When the Pope came here about 3 years ago,
yeah, it was an issue.
He offered an apology
Yeah.
and called it a genocide.
I followed that. Actually.
In the United States right now, as we speak, the current administration is revoking visas to international students that participated in protest against the war in Gaza. Professors are being taken to court for speaking out. They just passed a certain communique was sent out yesterday by the State Department, the Justice Department, and the State Department. If you are an international student, an immigrant, and if you hold permanent residency or green card, if you've ever committed a crime in the United States, you'll be deported. So while we speak about international law, they are not made. These laws were created by those that were victors of the Second World War. You were not part of it. I was not part of it. They built their system. They created the United Nations. They created the World Bank. They created the IMF. They created international law. We are only participating. Africa has about 1.4 billion people. It has no seat at the Security Council. India, with a population of about 1.3 billion, has no seat at the Security Council. So I understand how frustrated we are. So the world is ruled by games, interest, and dominance. We are aspiring to be free from oppression and from occupation. And so the existing state called Cameroon, just like the existing state called Israel, does not want Palestine to be free. The existing state called Cameroon, which is the occupying authority in Ambazonia, does not want Ambazonia to be free. Because our current model of the world, which is our current values, okay, are predatory in nature. We have certain false beliefs, which means if Ambazonia becomes free, then Cameroon is losing something. Then probably Cameroon will not be able to develop. Then probably Cameroon can disintegrate. If Palestine becomes free, then Israel is losing something. Then Israel will no longer be Israel. So all these occupying states use violence and oppression and suppression as means to subjugate the occupied people in order to prove that they are strong and they have power. But is that the only way a state can prove its strength and dominance and power? Is that the only way?
No, economically you can. China is doing that.
So that model of the world, it's a model of the world that is a destructive model of the world. And that's why over the last 70 years, there has never been peace in the Middle East. As long as that is the model of the world that the occupying authority insists to practice. It's the same thing with Cameroon. There are more than, according to international experts, okay, in terms of people that are involved in international diplomacy, they said there are about 180,000 Palestinians have been killed within the last 16, 17 months. About 180,000. The official record states it's about 46 to 48,000. But these experts are counting on 90% of northern Gaza has been turned to rubble. Imagine all the children, the women, men, all the young men that are underneath the rubble. So estimate it's about 180,000. So when you're talking about
folks, coming back to our topic of discussion.
Let me just because it's good we equate these things because we get lost sometimes because it's so personal to us. What is the international law? Come back to Ambazonia. Cameroon is an occupying power. It's not a state that is reasonable. It's not a state that is, you're not dealing with people that are reasonable. Mr. Biya is not reasonable. Cameroon is not a reasonable state. They are not people that do things based on the rule of law. They don't even obey their own laws. So why do you expect them to obey international laws? When their own laws, they can't obey their own laws. Look at how they treat their own citizens. What has happened to Dr. Cho, what has happened to Siseko Yokabe, what has happened to Tassan Wilfred, what has happened to Pam Fong Galanfo, what has happened to Mancho BBC, what has happened to to Abdul Karim
Karim.
is the same thing. The occupying state feels threatened by any Ambazonian who dares to challenge its occupying authority of Ambazonia by exerting the identity and independence of Ambazonia or Southern Cameroon.
So now the case in this
arrest of Dr. Cho by Norway, it's a political, psychological game which has been planned, orchestrated, carried out by those that are benefiting from the Ambazonian cheap resources, France and Cameroon. They just used Norway. Okay? The French intelligence services worked hand in hand with the Norwegian intelligence services, and they pleaded with the United States to allow them to do this. The US
whole administration
under Joe Biden. They gave them the green light.
Because on what charges? And why have they not
again
brought him up to court?
I want us to be reasonable. Dr. Cho is the most consequential Ambazonian leader. His presence outside would lead to the freedom of Ambazonia. You need two things for any liberation to succeed. You need a charismatic leader, and you need a compelling liberation movement. He created both. By taking away Dr. Cho, they reduce the intensity of the liberation struggle psychologically. They reduce the light that the people relied upon psychologically. So these are psychological games. By taking the leader out, remember, where there is no leader, the people perish. Where there is no leader, the people perish.
But he's still a leader. And we still recognize the fact that he's still a leader, no matter where they jail him.
I've not refused the fact.
No, I understand. I'm just trying to make sure that we see out understanding.
I understand. By putting him in jail, there's a difference between a leader being physically outside and a leader being in jail. They are two different things.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, they are two different things. By taking the leader, keeping him in jail for their own reasons, not for your reasons. They are keeping him in jail in fictitious charges that have not even been levied on him yet. Okay, it's all a game. And once you and I understand the game, they are playing with your life, they are playing with my life, and the only reason they are playing this game is because you are an Ambazonian, you are an African, you are black.
We have to assert ourselves. We understand that.
Why don't you?
I don't refuse that.
Have you realized that they don't play the games with their English brothers? Have you realized that they don't play the games with their Finnish brothers and sisters? Have you realized that they don't play the games with their Danish brothers and sisters? Or with their Dutch sisters? Or with their German brothers and sisters? We need to get this stuff in our brain.
No, I get you. What you are saying is true. You are right. You are trying to let us understand we have to assert ourselves and get beyond that, because what you are trying to make, the point you're trying to make is true, because we have psychologically internalized what they have imposed on us as being subservience, and they are trying to practice and continue to impose what they think they are forced upon us to accept, of which when you and I sit and we're having this, I can call it conversation and intelligent communication, is to let our people understand the reality and see how they see us, and make sure that we let them understand that what they think and what they perceive that we are not going to fall in their or play in their game. We are a people with right of sovereignty. We are a people as equal as them on planet Earth.
Here
They
is
impose that.
here is
No, that it.
here
Go
is
ahead.
what General Colin Powell, the first black African American four-star general. Here's what he said: I will not allow the opinion of others become my opinion of myself.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
Norway can detain Dr. Cho. Norway can kill Dr. Cho. Norway can even jail Dr. Cho for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Whatever they do is to achieve certain political objectives, just like the arrest, imprisonment, and sentencing of Siseko Ayoktabe Julius, just like the arrest, the rendition, the imprisonment, and the sentencing of Ayoktabe Julius is to achieve political objectives, which is to deny. The political objective is to deny the Ambazonian people a charismatic leader who can mobilize the people, a leader that the people can trust and count upon for their liberation.
Yeah, but them, I don't refuse that.
Bro, please, let's just have this
conversation. I don't refuse that. I'm buying what you are saying.
What I'm trying to say is, look, they have political objectives to achieve for their own interest. When they took out Ayoktabe, unfortunately, Yerima cannot fill the shoes of Siseko Ayoktabe. What happened to that organization? So Cameroon achieved its political objective.
It fragmented because it was never on a solid ground.
I'm just saying.
I refuse. I don't refuse that. I don't refuse that. Yeah.
Its political objective.
Yep.
What
for that
is to
not for the revolution.
Ambazonian people, weaken their resolve. The egg of sea, it's a different beast. Okay? It might, by taking the leader, the vice president coming in, they understand that it's going to take the vice president a couple of months to adjust into the new role. They know that. So that period of adjusting, first of all, it delivers a shock on the people and it creates fear. These are all psychological games the enemy is playing. We don't have to fall for it. We just have to understand the game. And the purpose of this interaction is to help all of us to understand the social psychological games the enemy is playing with Ambazonia. Once you understand the game, you know how to circumvent, you know how to confront, you know how to fight, you know how to reposition, and you know how to elevate. That's the whole point. No way. You may wake up tomorrow and they tell you they've sent Dr. Cho to 30 years in jail.
We will fight it. I don't refuse it. No, I don't refuse it. You are, no, that is what you are saying. I don't refuse it.
Here is the thing. We should prepare for the worst.
I understand.
And by preparing for the worst, by making up our minds, by making no way to understand, Dr. Cho has made up his mind. They can kill him. They can send him to 100 years in jail. It will not stop the freedom and independence of Ambazonia. Okay? It will not stop.
Yep.
Cameroon can jail Mancho, jail Siseko, jail Tassa, Jail Abdul Karim. Cameroon will not stop the independence of Ambazonia.
You're right.
And we can guarantee Cameroon this. All these men and women will walk free upon negotiations. It's all a game. We just have to organize ourselves properly, increase our determination, increase our resilience, increase our commitment, and increase the punches we deliver to Cameroon. These are very critical times. And increase the punches we deliver to Cameroon. We deliver to their enablers, to their oligarchs. That's the whole point. As long as they look at you and I and realize that the arrest of Dr. Cho, we've not blinked, we're raising more money, the forces on the ground are getting well equipped, forces are expanding, forces are growing, we're forming new alliances, we're building new momentum, we're moving from east to west around the globe and intensifying our diplomatic offensives. They will adjust. They are only testing how far they can push us and how much we can bend. This is what all these games are all about.
Yeah, you're right.
As long as we are persistent and we are relentless, they have no choice. Cameroon only has this much time.
Yeah, you're right, because when you know, one of the things that you say that is very consequential is the fact that, you know, what I've noticed in the field as I speak to the forces, any time that they carry out a major operation, you have seen how the Mbuindonga axis has been very active, or the state of Mesa has been very active. Anytime that they carry out an action, you're talking to the generals or talking to we are doing this for our father. We are doing this based on a doctrine that he taught us. He's consistent. You are constant keeping him there. It's not going to stop us from doing what we are doing. We'll keep on doing what we are doing till our land is free.
Here is why the arrest and detention of the leader will not change or dent the trajectory of the liberation. Because over the last 9 years, he has programmed and conditioned within the psyche of the Ambazonian people a sense of nationalism, a sense of identity and ownership of the land.
Sovereignty.
He's built within them a sense of authority, a sense of leadership, and an attitude of never blinking. He has informed all of us that we are going to face a series of obstacles, challenges along the way.
Yeah.
Like every other people that have gone through this path.
Yeah.
They have the same challenges they face. We're going to face those challenges. But we should know that at the end, as long as we are persistent, as long as we have faith, as long as we are committed, as long as we are resilient, as long as we never lose sight of what is it that we're fighting for. The survival of our people and the survival of the state of Ambazonia.
There is something that I want to ask you, just to get your take on it. We have seen the barbaric nature of Republic Cameroon. We've seen them openly, knowing that our civilians are in homes. They have burned them down with them in those houses. We saw, you and I, one of the most gruesome images that we have ever experienced in this revolution, where Sam Sawyer was held in public and he was slaughtered like a cow. They videotaped it and filmed it and sent it out. That's how barbaric the Republic of Cameroon is. What was their game plan? What were they trying to convey to us? Doing that, and we've also seen how they used their proxy forces, their Tanganji boys, where an Ambazonian lady was killed, his entries exposed, torn open, his entries exposed and beheaded, cut like piece of chicken. What were they trying to, what was the message they were trying to pass along to Ambazonians?
A mental image, an image, it's a very powerful symbol. Okay. For any Christian, just when you say Christ, what comes into their mind automatically is the cross.
Mm-hmm.
That's an
You're
image.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That image has been embedded in the minds of Christians for 2,000 years.
Yeah.
During the uprising in Cameroon,
Mm-hmm.
when France was offering and preparing Cameroon for a quasi-independence,
Mm-hmm.
and the UPC wanted full independence and full sovereignty,
Mm-hmm.
they launched a resistance campaign to pressurize the French to grant them full independence and give them full sovereignty. The French, I will advise all Ambazonians to study these literatures. They are out there. Go watch the documentary of what the French, and at that time, the Cameroon intelligence services, what they did to the Bamili case.
It's a genocide there, right?
They killed 400,000. 400,000. They hacked the head of a man and put in a village square of that village.
Done by the French.
And Cameroon. But the French were the one giving, prescribing, and giving the rules of what to do. The French participated. Some of them are alive. They are confessing today. That's why I'm advising everybody to go study and watch. Go study this literature. Go watch this stuff so that you will understand the foundation of the state of Cameroon.
And that's their history. They don't teach them.
No, so these are the rules of the game. When Cameroon succeeded to suppress, when Cameroon and French succeeded to suppress UPC, and then the puppets groomed by France, who fought alongside the French against UPC, the Bia and the rest, and Ayijo, were responsible in all of these massacres.
Yeah.
In order to take power from the French, in order to be crowned the new owners of the land, the new authorities of governance, the people that they will hand over quasi-independence to. But they succeeded in killing 400,000 men, women, grandmothers, children, pregnant women. They will hack the head of a woman and put it in her neighborhood for others to see. Is this what you want to be?
There's a balance that they use now in the US that they call it bulk breaking.
So what they did to Sam Sawyer was, by filming and taking pictures, they are sending a powerful, fearful message to other Ambazonians. If you rise up, you'll become the next Sam Sawyer. So the lady you talked about that was killed, her body hacked, her body parts were harvested by Cameroon military, especially the bees. They took her body parts and sold it in the black market for voodoo. They are doing this in Ambazonia. The bees are killing Ambazonian men and women, young girls, harvesting their body parts and sell them in the black market for voodoo in Cameroon. The literature is all out there for all of you to go study, research, find out for yourselves that in Cameroon, they sell human body parts for voodoo. But their essence of doing all of this is to instill the emotion of fear within the experience of Ambazonians, so that the image are so shocking and horrible that Ambazonians will not want to go out and resist. It didn't work. Here's why it didn't work. Unlike in the 50s, we can counter those things. So when they embed these destructive images in the minds of our people to create fear, we will immediately counter those images and put positive images that automatically suppress the old image. So we instill now resistance, fear, bravery, courage, right? Triumph. If we never had social media, if we didn't have the internet, if we didn't have smartphone, the liberation would have collapsed.
Sure.
Okay? These things would have worked. They didn't work because we outsmart Cameroon, because we understand the psychological game they are playing. We're way above Cameroon. So we can instantly counteract it, reassure our people, right? Those things were done by forces that came from Chad, from Central African Republic, from Equatorial Guinea, and the French on the field in Ambazonia. Okay? There are British forces are fighting alongside Cameroon B. There are French forces fighting alongside Cameroon.
Wow.
Okay? The forces on the ground have taken pictures of even Dutch forces from Holland fighting in Ambazonia. Ambazonia is not just fighting Cameroon. The Ambazonia Governing Council intercepted intelligence last week. A United Nations report. You didn't know this, I didn't know this. Yeah. The intelligence was intercepted. There is a United Nations report of an investigation that a United Nations team conducted in Ngabo. The French forces from what they call DGSE, Direction générale de sécurité extérieure are implicated in the Ngabu massacre.
Wow.
French intelligence force operatives of the French Legionnaires, which they have a base in Douala, were directly involved in the Ngabu massacre. How many other massacres have they directed, have they orchestrated, directed, and monitored in Ambazonia? What we are fighting for is way bigger than what most of us understand physically. There's a lot here that is involved. Remember, around 2017, 2018, the Americans were solely responsible in training the bee up there in Marwa and Garwa. They had a bee base where they were providing training. A lot of the surveillance materials were surveillance materials that were supposed to be used in the fight for Boko Haram. So the reason the US got upset at the time, Mr. Trump administration at the time, got upset because the materials the United States provided for counter-terrorism were diverted
to fight Ambazonia,
to commit atrocities, human rights abuses in Ambazonia.
Wow, that's overloaded. Anyway, it doesn't surprise, because when Legend Ivor was in the battlefield, you come back and tell us that I was fighting white people. I was in the battlefield with white people, and they were French soldiers. There were moments that we caught some. I think the soldiers caught some French soldiers with their badges on. So it's not something that, from what you said, we are fighting something bigger, way bigger than we think, and we really have to really buckle up to continue this battle.
We should look, bro. We should applaud and give ourselves some credit. We should applaud the resilience of our people.
Yeah.
Look at all of these international actors, all involved in that small place called Ambazonia, fighting a people that by their nature very peaceful. So look at how much progress we've been able to make. Look at how far we have come. Even with the French directly being involved, the British being directly involved, the Israelis, the Dutch, and the Americans. Look at how far Ambazonia has come. Look at how far these forces have come. Look at how much they've done in terms of resistance and liberation. We should pat ourselves on the back, bro. Yeah. We've done extremely well in the face of very difficult circumstances. People, nations, states, and organizations with some of the best technologies and weapons. In our relative obscurity and emptiness, in the worst of times, we've shown the best and have done the best. This is extraordinary.
Yeah. You're right. At times, that's what I'm saying, that when people always say that the revolution is God ordained, I mean, those are the earmarks of what we are seeing. The forces that we are fighting is beyond, but we are still standing up tall and high and strong. There's something that you still see. I watched a couple of images today on the social media. You see, I can call it desperation in, like, probably Cameroon, where people are receiving 10,000 and a bottle. And then when you look at it, is not just youths, older people. Is that how cheap like probably Cameroonians have become? And before I really ask the question, I want to make it very clear to Ambazonians. We are not participating in any way, shape, or form in these sham elections in our territory. If anybody is doing, you are committing treason. If you are caught with voters' card or you are caught with electoral, anything related to the Republic of Cameroon in the name of election in our land is treasonous. So if you are caught with any of those things and our forces, you fall in the hands of our forces, you have yourself to blame. Ambazonia is a state. The Republic of Cameroon is another state. They don't have any right or mandate to conduct any form of election in our territory. Anybody participating or taking part in that, you are the umbilical cord in the oppression and subjugation of our people. And we are doing everything possible to cut it off. So, spokes, seeing the desperation in the Republic of Cameroon, them vying to go and vote for a 90-something year, close to a 100-year-old person to rule. Look at the desperation and the catastrophic nature of that nation. What crosses your mind with such images that you see on social media? People,
Happiness. I'm happy.
You happy for them? Or you're happy for them?
Yes. I'm happy
Hope
to
it
see.
stays in their land, not
No.
in Ambazonia.
These are gifts to the Ambazonian people. What Cameroon is doing, these are stories for us to take, properly communicated to the international community, to Norway. Look at what you said.
Yeah.
Okay? Ask any Cameroonian or any Cameroonese who is telling you election is the way to go and vote, that voting will resolve the conflict. Okay?
Yeah.
So these are all gifts. When you've seen all of these things happening, you've seen a state that has no soul, a state that has no character, a state that has no identity, a state that has no rules, a state that has no laws. That's why I've said Cameroon as a state does not exist. Because a state, it's a set of cultures and customs, a set of values, okay, that shape what they call a state. The United States has certain cultures, certain customs, certain norms, okay, certain
Canada
values
also. Yeah.
that makes the United States the United States. So Cameroon is a corrupt, okay, it's a corrupt, okay, it's a backward country that a 92-year-old dictator who's been in power for 43 years has become so desperate. And all the oligarchs they've put in place, they have become so desperate. They don't have anything to go tell the people as to why they should vote for them because they have no reason. They've not been able to offer their people anything. Mr. Biya, about 3-4 days ago, put out a post on Twitter that he has borrowed, he's taking a loan of 112 billion CFA, I think from the state of Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. But it's done on Twitter. To do what? To provide water for the city of Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon. No, think about this. The capital of your country, the people doesn't have basic water to drink. You have to go to Belgium or any of these Western states to borrow, to take a loan of 112 billion CFA in order to provide
water.
water. You know how much Mr. Biya is worth? Do you know how much Mr. Biya is worth? No. Mr. Biya is the richest president in Africa with a net worth of 3.5 billion CFA. I mean, sorry, $3.5 billion. Okay? They've emptied the treasury, auctioned all the resources. They've emptied the treasury, auctioned all the resources to third parties, to multinational companies in France, Norway, the UK, and even the US, German companies, in order to guarantee the power. So that's why nobody's talking about all of those corrupt practices. That's why they accepted the 2018 presidential elections when it was rigged in front of openly. That's why they will accept 2025 presidential election, which Mr. Biya will declare himself the winner. So now, every rally, they are giving everybody, a man and a woman. So think about how they have reduced Cameroonese mothers to beggars in their own country. So wear the CPDM uniform, come to the rally, we will take down your name, we will take down your phone number, we'll take a copy of your ID card. You have committed to vote for the CPDM. Here is your 2,000. Here is your bottle, a small bottle of juice, and half a baguette with some sardines.
Yes.
So we have reduced the population to mere beggars in their own country. A country so rich with natural resources. We own those natural resources. So we make them beggars and dependents. So now, the population, I give you 2,000, I give you 4,000, I give you 5,000. I give you a bottle of juice. I take pictures of you. I take videos of you. You know what I've done to you? I've committed you to an act of corruption, to the outcome for which I want. And Cameroon is not ashamed of it. So that is what Cameroon has become. Now, that is what they are Gobalas, and all the opposition parties in Cameroon, okay?
The Kawalas.
And all the Anglophones, that's what they want. They are transferring that from Cameroon to Ambazonia. In every rally, which they will sneak into Ambazonia, bring in bags of money, bags of salt, bags of rice. So people are exchanging their destiny. They are trading their destiny, their future.
Few generations also.
Their future is worth a bottle of juice. Their destiny is worth 2,000. Their lives is worth a bottle of export. Because as long as I can eat and drink at this moment, I don't care about what happens tomorrow.
That's sad, man.
So
that's sad.
This is what is at stake. But that's a gift for you and for all Ambazonians. Because it reminds you, that is not what I want. That's not what I'm fighting for. That's not a future I want to be part of. And that's why elections, the colonial elections, have been banned in Ambazonia. We don't want the poison. We don't want the toxicity. Yeah. We don't want the corruption. They have been banned in Ambazonia.
Thank you very much. Thanks for really breaking down. Because people don't see the gravity of what those images are really telling. When you break it down and let people understand you are sacrificing your future and your future generations for a piece of bread.
No, because that's what you signed up for. Remember, this is what the people, they did this in 2018. That's what the people signed up for. That's what the people are signing up for. Yeah. So after the election, that's what you sign up for.
And you know what? Us fighting for our sovereignty, our statehood, you know, the West don't talk about it, but they see people of that sort. Anyway, you break it down in your last. You did a good job in your last outing by stating that well. The world is ruled by interest. So someone like Bia can be there for the next 100 years. They
Just
don't care
because,
as long as they get their interest.
just because they're not talking about it on TV doesn't mean they're not talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Just because Norway has arrested Dr. Cho does not mean the world does not care about Ambazonia. The world, it's a big place. Okay. There are others that cares about Ambazonia.
Yeah.
You and I we saw a video of a conference that took place in South Africa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The summit.
Yeah.
We saw that, right?
Yeah, we saw that. You're right.
We saw in 2022, in October, November, and December 2022, Ambazonians proudly in 3 different cities across Canada, in Montebello, Mont Tremblant, and in Toronto. Ambazonia sat in the biggest diplomatic events in the world and negotiated with Cameroon. We are something, my brother. We are something.
And besides that, just what you're saying, our legal team is also the firm that we hired is also making some serious inlets into the quest for our independence. There's work going on.
There's a report that just came out this week by African Intelligence, a news outlet that has been existing in the last 40 years.
Okay.
They just wrote a diplomatic article on the strides Ambazonia is making in the United States through the lobby firm. And Sila has been put on notice.
It's good that you bring out some of the gains you are making externally, so that our people back home can know that we are one with them.
Bro, here is something I want to say. The Ambazonian people have successfully delivered a strategic defeat to Cameroon.
Yeah.
Okay. Cameroon, it's calculating. Cameroon, as an occupying power, is doing some soul searching. Various factions in Cameroon, they're juxtaposing. Okay. They are making some calculations and they are talking to the world that, hey, listen, we need help. So there is a lot of movement taking place between Cameroon, Ambazonia, and the international community in order to forge what's coming on next, what could be on the table. Ambazonia is standing for independence, freedom, and sovereignty. Cameroon, as an occupying power, will come and propose something. It's negotiation.
Yeah.
Okay? But they are coming to the table. They've never been on the table before with Ambazonia. The first time was 2022 because of this strategic defeat. So we have made inroads. We have proven ourselves. We've demonstrated ourselves. We've demonstrated our capabilities. We are a powerful people. We now command power. We are powerful. That's why the international community is looking for ways to resolve the conflict, stop the killing, end the suffering, and find a negotiated settlement which will be hammered out by the Ambazonian people and by Cameroon.
Yeah.
When the time comes. But things are moving fast because there are signs that Cameroon can implode. And the international community is also afraid what happens if Cameroon implodes. So it's better to push Cameroon, threaten Cameroon, squeeze Cameroon to accept a negotiated settlement before the international community has to deal with another 10,000 refugees.
That's, yeah.
And then the entire region that is very fragile will now collapse.
Yeah.
So this is who we are as Ambazonians.
Yeah.
This is how far we have pushed Cameroon and taken Cameroon to that point, to that breaking point. We Ambazonians have done this to Cameroon.
Yeah.
Cameroon has no choice than to negotiate with this generation. And no one can take this away from us.
Yeah. Comrade, one last thing I want to ask you. I know I've taken much of your time.
We're just rounding up right now. So
yeah, we're rounding up actually. I just want to ask you one last question. Recently we heard about, I want to get your take on this and what is the messaging behind this? Recently we've heard about TPS, they call it temporal stay.
Temporal protected status.
Protected status, sorry, temporal protected status from some Ambazonians, let me say Cameroonians. I know, let me put it this way, specifically say,
Ambazonians are Cameroonians.
Yeah, both Ambazonians and both Cameroonians. They are both of them, two states that they have taken away that particular protected status for our people. Are more concerned with Ambazonians, even. It says both for Cameroon and Ambazonia. We are more concerned with Ambazonians. And I'm very worried about that. So what type of messaging is coming out with this type of decision? And what can you transmit to Ambazonians globally about this struggle and quest for our land? What is the messaging behind that? How can you transmit? I mean, how do you relate this with Ambazonians globally for them to have an understanding about this revolution?
First of all, it's a tragic situation for people that have escaped the conflict. Travels across deserts, across dense, wild forest, live through rivers, jungles, and they've gone through all sort of extreme conditions to find their way to the United States. A land where they believe they'll find hope and safety. So it's heartbreaking. For our people. This is not done specifically as a punishment to any Ambazonian. It's a broad policy. It's a blanket policy. The new administration is taking. The United States has problems that they will not be able to solve maybe for the next 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
According to some estimates, there are about 30 million illegal immigrants in the United States. Some said it's 20 million. Some said it's 30 million. Mr. Trump has an agenda called America First.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the world first. So while we are victims of these circumstances, they just want to rebuild their own country. Some states, some judges in the United States, some civil rights movements in the United States are doing everything they possibly can to help these people not to be sent back. I hope that Ambazonians in the United States will reach out and find out some of these civil rights movements within the United States that are providing free legal services so that they can get some help.
Okay.
Mr. Trump policy is not specific to the conflict. People from Haiti, we all know what's happening in Haiti. It's a serious conflict in Haiti, and for the last 3 years, they've not had a government. The capital has been taken over by gangs. Kenya has deployed about 500 Kenya police in Haiti as part of a new US and UN peacekeeping mission in Haiti. There are Haitians, there are Cubans, there are Mexicans. There are about 550,000 people from Latin America and the Caribbeans that have lost their own type of TPS as well. 550,000. So it's not specific to Ambazonia. That's what I wanted to say. And it's not specific to the conflict. It's not like because Cameroon has achieved some gains on the ground, and so therefore Mr. Trump is saying, oh, now it's safe for these people to go back. That's not the case. Mr. Trump wants to reduce the burden the United States is carrying in terms of immigrants, temporal immigrants. For those that have families in the United States, do all you can to have yourself a lawyer to protect yourself. I just wanted to say that it is not specific to Ambazonia. We also don't know if this is a signal to Mr. Biya. This could also be a signal to Mr. Biya. This could be a signal. I've not gotten any intelligence within our sources yet as to what is the calculation behind this. Okay? They are also sending their Sudanese are also being asked to leave. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is not Ambazonian specific. So Cameroon cannot, I know that there are propagandists out there which will come and tell the Ambazonian
grandstand. To grandstand and say that they are the ones that have done you right.
They will say that because Cameroon has defeated the resistance on the ground and therefore it's a part of the normalization process. That's why the United States, no, it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and go ahead, sorry. Maybe
it was also something that came up this week about there was a guy that was caught. There's a video circulating out there. I think we had it in the communication forum where
Yeah.
Maybe you want to bring that up so that we use that to wrap this up.
I can't pull it now, but
you don't have to pull it. We can talk about it.
Yeah, about the guy that was caught in Lebialem
Yeah.
by Red Dragons. Recently, there was a video out there that a guy was caught as an informant for the enemy, and I mean, can you speak more to the tactics that the enemy is using now and what's playing on the ground? Because we got some very sense from what you were trying to hint me. We got some very sensitive information from this guy and what he was trying to put out there. So that when you put out this information, our people are versed and aware of the tactics and the strategies that the enemy is using on our own people, and so as to caution them to be more careful. So yeah, I know it came from Lebialem, and it was part of the Red Dragon forces. The fragments of the Red Dragon force that are still operating in Lebialem that we picked up that guy. I saw him talking about him being an informant. I don't know, what can you say more about that video?
The Cameroon government is also changing its tactics, but they are also repeating some of their old tactics. Around 2018, 2019, they set up a lot of what they call vigilante groups across Ambazonia. Mm-hmm. It all collapsed. So what they are doing is to use presidents of communities or community organization, presidents of cultural community organizations.
Yeah.
And draw them into the conflict to
Yeah.
become actors of the conflict within their various communities. In the case of what happened in Libya, the Libya Cultural Association, the president of that group, according to this intel which that guy provided, is the one who set up this vigilante group.
Wow.
That he's been instructed by the bees. So they are using them to set up this vigilante group. They didn't only set up a vigilante group, they connect them directly to the bees to provide them with Cameroon military uniforms.
Okay.
And weapons. In the past, when the bees and the Cameroon government, when things are not working out for them, they will come and take some of these vigilante elements and kill them and display their bodies as Ambazonian fighters. Now, unfortunately for this guy, forces of the Red Dragons have identified who he is, discovered who he is, and arrested him. The video confessions are public. They are all circulating on social media. For any young Ambazonian, anyone who wants to recruit you to be part of a vigilante group, the Cameroon state, as an occupying authority, is responsible for the security in Ambazonia. So the Cameroon state does not want to live up to its own obligation because they are afraid to fight Ambazonian forces. They don't want to die.
Mm-hmm.
They want to use you without training, without education, to carry the burden of providing security. They want to use you to be intelligence gatherer so that you can trace, identify movements of Ambazonian forces, and then you pass on the intelligence. You are putting yourself
at what cost? Yeah.
You are putting yourself on a crossroad. You're putting yourself in between. You're getting yourself directly involved in the conflict. You are getting yourself directly involved in the conflict. You are becoming an actor of the conflict or in the conflict. You're becoming a direct participant in the conflict.
Traitor.
Ambazonian forces will take you out.
Yeah.
So, all Ambazonians, don't allow yourself or yourselves to be used by by presidents of Ambazonian cultural groups that have been taken over by Cameroon intelligence services. They provide them with money, and then they use you. They should use their own children.
Yep.
Tell the president of your cultural group to use his own brothers and sisters as vigilantes. They should not use you for 10,000 francs, for 20,000 francs. You can do better. You will be killed.
Yep.
They will come back and kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're caught, just like the other one that was caught, working with the enemy, eating with the enemy, conniving with the enemy, you're putting your life at risk, you're putting your life in danger. You have a better future ahead of you. Stay away from anything Cameroon. Stay away. Don't allow them to use you. They said they have gendarmes. They said they have bees.
Mm-hmm.
They said they have police. They said they have army. The army, their bees, their gendarmes, and their police, and their presidential guards should provide security wherever they think it's needed. They should not don't allow yourselves to be used. Ambazonian people are fighting the occupier. Don't get yourself in the middle. You get yourself in the middle, you will be killed, and you have yourself to blame.
Thank you very much, Spokes. I hope that message goes very clear to Ambazonians. Anybody participating against the liberation of Ambazonians is a traitor, and you will be killed, as the Spokes have said. It's not a matter as a sport. It is the law of this revolution. Participating in elections is anti-revolutionary. Participating or forming vigilante groups, you are directly involved in the war because your vigilante is against our fighters, and you will be treated as an enemy combatant.
No, they are spies.
Yeah, you are a spy to the enemy. Yeah, I know that you are directly involved, as the speaker said, and you know the consequences. You are our enemy, and our enemies are taken out in the battlefield. So at times we come and we make people to understand and have the sending message very clearly, so that they get it and they understand whatever thing they are doing, the ramifications.
Save your life.
Save
your life.
Yes.
Save your life. Don't go closer to those guys. Don't go closer to the public. Don't go closer to enablers. Save your life. Don't allow them to use you that to be what they call vigilante. Don't allow yourself. They will kill you. They will kill you. The beast will kill you. Display your body that you are an amber fighter. I'm not kidding. They've done this in the past. They've killed a lot of young Ambazonians. All right. They will give you those guns. They turn around, kill you, take your body, dump your body in your community, and then they'll call you an Ambazonian fighter.
Yeah.
Stay clear. Save your life.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. You know, you and I can go on and on for hours and hours. But I really thank you very much.
We are right now what? Yeah, we schedule an hour 40 minutes. We're right now an hour 48 minutes. So we come to the end.
We are really on time. Thanks very much, folks. Thanks. I really appreciate your analysis, your in-depth analysis. You take it not only, you bring it down to Ambazonian people to understand exactly what we are facing, how much we need to put in. And the good thing about your analysis is that you let our people understand that keep emotions aside. See things the way it is. Unless we get to that point of seeing things the way it is, we can't make progress. There was an era of emotions, and you are trying to, wean us out of emotions and see the raw, bare, what lies bare ahead of us or in front of us, so that we can really know exactly how to confront it. We are like cleansing our minds, cleansing our people's minds to know the enemy that we are facing. There is no sugar coating. There's no sweet talks around. We have to really get serious and continue the resistance in the proper form. Because, the point is that when you sugarcoat things, we go in lousily and we get hurt. Just as we started this revolution with all the niceties and the thoughts that
we have to save lives and we have to protect lives, right?
Yes.
So we are fighting. We are fighting to save the lives and protect the lives of our people.
Yes.
This really helps our people not to fall victims, all right? Because the goal of the enemy is to make everyone a victim of themselves.
Yeah.
Okay? They create circumstances, and then they send you into those circumstances for you to become victims of circumstances they created, right? So the scheme of vigilante is to rally young Ambazonians because they have to prove to the state of Cameroon, the police, the army, the gendarmes, they have to prove to the state of Cameroon that they are fighting. So that's why they will kill these young men and women called vigilante within communities, displace their body. After all, some of them are armed by the bees. They'll kill them, take pictures. That is Amber Boys for them to continuously collect war money.
That's a racketeering that's been going on. On the corpse of, on the bodies of our people, our young people. So we are just sending out this warning for people to understand the game and to know what is going on, so that you stay away from it. If you have something to contribute to the revolution, fight with our fighting forces, and let's push these people out of our territory. I really want to thank you, Spokes, for always taking time to break things down for our people, to let our people understand where we stand, and to let our people have clarity in what we are fighting for, and to help continue to create that determination for our people to know that we are the only ones to free ourselves, and we need to do it rightly. There is no one coming, but it's only us to do the job.
Cameroon is done.
Yeah.
Cameroon is done. Okay? We have delivered a strategic defeat to Cameroon.
Yeah.
They have to save face. Cameroon is looking for all ways to save face. So it's up to the Ambazonian people. It's up to our forces. It's up to our population. It's up to our activists. It's up to political movements and political leaders. Cameroon is done. Let us as a people mount a stiff resistance. The upcoming presidential and regional election, it's a monumental test on the Ambazonian people. Either they come on the negotiating table or they pivot. So we're at the crossroad. But Cameroon as a state, they are done. We've defeated them. They are looking for a way to save face.
Off-ramp, yeah.
So there are a lot of things going on diplomatically, squeezing, twisting, arm twisting for Cameroon to accept negotiations before the elections. What we have as a duty, as a people, as a responsibility as a people, is to make sure across the Ambazonia territory, our people do not fall into this trap to help Cameroon off-ramp, using Ambazonia as a staging ground for their propaganda. So we have a collective duty to be wise. In the face of our victory, we should show more resistance, more defiance. We should show more authority, more bravery, and more power. We all should rally around our forces. We all should support our forces. We all should be preparing for what's ahead. This is the time to take that which belongs to us. We have defeated Cameroon.
Yeah.
Let's take that which belongs to us. We're Ambazonians. And we should get ready to sit on the table with Cameroon and hammer it out and take back our land. So I want to thank you for all that you're doing. I love our interactions. I love our exchanges. We pitch and catch. We zig and we zag. We pull and we push each other. We challenge, beat each other. So it's great to see people working in teams. coming up, doing the work together, and challenging each other even publicly. Said, no. What about this? No, what about that? No, what about this? Right? This is how it's supposed to be. So that on an ongoing basis, we can elevate our people, inspire our people, and give our people a sense of hope. And we're doing great. So I just want to applaud Ground Zero. I want to applaud our children, applaud our mothers, applaud all Ambazonians across the 13 states for the stiff resistance and the victory they have achieved.
Thanks so much, Spokes. And before I close out, I just want to say this to Ambazonians. One of the biggest battles that Ambazonians ever fought, that we still have to write an epistle on that battle, the Battle of Kwakwa. That is the battle that redefined Ambazonian resistance. The Battle of Kwakwa. Spokes, I can tell you, I can attest. Fighters were going for weeks and coming back. The units that was under my control, they only come back and say, give us money for food. That's all we need. And they'll deliver and show you a pile upon pile of AKs that they have collected.
That's right.
That they have collected. That battle will still write the epistle of the Battle of Kwakwa. That defined and turned. That was a turning point for Liberia to understand that they are not fighting babies. They are fighting a resistance. That battle has not been spoken much about. But that is where when Ambazonians define themselves that they are warriors. We'll write an epistle on that battle. I thought about it.
We'll continue to talk about it. For now,
thanks, man.
For now, we have to go.
So, fellow Ambazonians, and it's upon this note that we call it off a day. And I thank those who stayed back and listened. And we'll keep on fighting. We have just no outlet. We have this under control. It's in our court. We've matured to a point of not asking people to help us. We are helping ourselves. It is a tough battle. The president of the AGOFC always told us it's going to be a long, hard struggle. Some of us will die on the way. Some of us will carry the mantle till Ambazonia is free. We don't have time, is not our limitation. The end result is a free Amazonia. We don't care how long it takes. This generation might come to pass. But one thing that this generation has left and will leave is the freedom of Ambazonia. It will come by any means necessary. Stay the course. Don't you give up. Never give up. We are writing our history. This particular generation will end the carnage and pillage and the suffering of Ambazonian people. Never give up. The president of the AGOFC said it was going to be a long, hard struggle. We are cut out of that club, and Ambazonia will be free by any means necessary. Don't blink.
So, yes, Sebastian, you be captain for Vigilante Group on the West since when? Please help me.
I need to understand.
What be they give on money for giving for you then from the West?
No, where are you?
Talk. What be they give on money?
Na being a good way the compensate for the service they will do one for.
What service?
We will there for the guide caterpillar.
Now you be Vigilante Group captain.
You know you get a vigilante group.
You been a waiting.
I say you leader from the way.
Now you there be the guard the caterpillar.
We no be the guard caterpillar. We were there for road. I didn't say no as the road day. Because we told say no fine say when caterpillar dey for road, no you know dey. Because
When the guard road wait today for road. Wait to be there for road when I be the guard.
we the worker being called stick them now for road. No, we dey make.
What be the pay when I want know a person where we dey give for the money.
No, for year we dey take money na for given for year, but I know say Mr. Boris be the commercial. If we can give them money.
Okay.
You talk to?
Why?
Okay. Mission for
Of course, that get very well.
Mission for comot for Kingsley. The time where they be locked Tibet. Mission for comot for Kingsley. Come. I carry highway. Ikelebe because Ikelebe not be cash. That plan where you be go for brigade, go here. Now we be leak Ikelebe for camp.
Yeah, gay.
For camp.
Me I know reward.
Quiet.
Me I know.
Quiet. Ma tell you the date. 21st December. 21st December. That was Saturday, right? 21st December 2024. Was that Saturday?
All everything we government send them for me enter.
You did out. Take your calendar, check them.
My phone, I need record.
Okay. When I be enter, when I be catch a minute go there for Funkem.
For that night.
21st December 2024.
No, I talk the day where I be there.
The day.
Yes,
that's 21st. Start from there. When I be catch a minute go there for Funkem.
They be catch. They be key one good. They catch two good.
Now what they be doing?
Now military.
You be there?
I be there.
Okay. I'm recording. Talk for Pidgin. We on Monday here. 21st December 2024. Where you be the worker with the bed to St. Patrick's. They be give you gun.
Yeah, they be give gun for me. They never get cartridge.
They never get cartridge?
Yes. If you get that this thing, now today I will just hold on. So in the time when they come back, they take another, the bed is open up.
Okay. They be give you gun, right?
Yes.
They give you uniform. Uniform for army or uniform for which kind of uniform?
Yeah, for army.
Now uniform for army, eh?
Yes.
Okay. When I go catch how many civilian that day?
They go kill you for Funkem. Also they bring some 4 party.
Okay. 30th. The same December. 30th December. That was on Sunday. 2025. If you still hold on. 30th December. Well, when I go shoot go them before when I come back. When I shoot how many go?
They be shoot 2 good. They be shoot 2 good.
They catch how many?
They catch 1.
Okay. From there they go from our floor. And you feel Florence. They be catch how many got them on a pick.
They can catch 1 pick for friends.
The motive they be using for catch the pick now waiting.
They be seen a photo and for us to the shrine.
Now when I be go or no be wanna.
I will do for road.
You be there for road.
Yes.
You be hold gun.
No, I know we hold gun that day.
If you wear uniform, if you wear the army uniform,
yes.
When they be give one now.
Yes.
Now what they be give one the uniform?
Na army.
Na army, eh?
Yes.
For them, na Patrice or na Beatrice?
Na Patrice.
Na Patrice. Patrice, he dey work for which camp?
He dey work for the war.
The war?
Yes.
For Catholic mission at the Justice from Kwena. For David Ishidon.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Wait if you talk for Beatrice and Patrice.
Yeah. Wait I will tell them, I see. I be don't first talk for them. I say when I take me the worker, they use my bike so me I never be military. And you be don't learn for shoot gun. I don't learn for shoot gun. You carry me the workers, so they say no, we more worker because I'm be ever they come now we and them they dream me go every day. So and our village this way they can suffer, so we must do for it. All time we the one come for your worker for bush, the more worker will be the bush.
Okay. The same 2024 January. Now you be big captain for Vigilante Group.
Where is those Vigilante Group?
January 2024. where some incident for Caterpillar be happen from Dongwai village. Now you be captain for vigilante group.
It been a vigilante group.
But now you be leader.
Yes, I will be their president.
You will be their president.
Yes.
Okay, now what be the pay owner?
And I give them the bring money for.
What be the supply the money from Chang?
Now,
is it not Boris? Boris now who for Chang?
And I saw president for the Kudu they fix it.
Le Kudu Chang branch from Chang branch president. Nai.
I don't really know if na Chang branch it is your come for a big man that come Chang cap.
But na member for Le Kudu?
Yes, I member for.
Okay. It be the same one how much?
For 2 weeks we'll give you 40,000.
That is 1 week 10,000, 1 week 10,000. Okay. 24th July. Where bet to be tell you say when I wait till they happen, you need to understand. It be send your voice. Saying material don't come. When I be receive the gun them from Chang.
No.
But when I receive gun them from Chang.
I never na bet to become me.
But I don't play the voice. You don't hear the voice. Na bet is your voice.
Maybe na my phone that.
Maybe na your phone.
Yes, I'm the voice not coming for me. I don't recognize that voice. Need to recognize, I'll tell you. I know.
Na bet is your voice.
As I hear the voice, it show like saying na bet to the voice. Na bet to the voice as I hear.
Okay.
Levez-vous, partez, s'il vous plaît. Élise.
Viens t'asseoir.
Et là, il y a où des 5 restez là où vous êtes assis, je vais arriver là-bas. Vous embrouillez quand vous parlez comme Levez-vous, partez, s'il vous plaît. Élise.
Viens t'asseoir.
Et là, il y a où des 5 restez là où vous êtes assis, je vais arriver là-bas. Vous embrouillez quand vous parlez comme
Ambazonia will be offered to you tomorrow. Will you be ready? Will you be ready for governance? Do you have the institutions and expertise in terms of human capacity and state institutions to transform that space into one where our children can say, we fought a good fight? The reason why we are here is not simply because we want to create an alternative platform or pool our resources together. It's because we reject fraud. I don't know why you fight. I know all of us say we fight for independence, and I always remind you, independence is an abstract political construct. You fight for that abstract political construct, not as an objective. There are the micro issues within that political construct that you fight for. The right as a woman to have equal rights within your own country, to have opportunity in terms of education, to have a good health system that can take care of the weak and the sick, stop a woman dying every minute and giving birth. Those are the real issues we fight for. We fight for transparency. I invite every one of you to reject fraud. Reject it from the depth of your heart, and no matter what the opponent, the violent minority tells.
Welcome to ACN.